You ever feel your world crack in half from one phone call? That's what happened the night my sister, the airline pilot, called me. It was around 8 p.m. Soft jazz in the background, a glass of Pinot in my hand, my husband Noah scrolling through his phone on the couch like he didn't have a care in the world. I remember thinking how peaceful the moment felt. Then my phone buzzed. It was Cassidy, my big sister, the steady one, the overachiever who flew private jets for billionaires and commercial flights for Delta when she felt bored. "Hey, Ames," she said, her voice tight. "You busy?" "Just home," I said, smiling at Noah. "Wine, music, husband. Why?" Silence. Then, "I need to ask you something strange. Your husband, is he home right now?" I laughed. "Yeah." "Why?" "He's sitting in the living room?" "Yes." "Amelia," she whispered, "that can't be true, because I'm watching him with another woman right now. They just boarded my flight to Paris." My heart stopped. "What?" "Business class, gate C3. He's wearing that stupid navy blazer with the gold buttons. Amelia, they're holding hands." I froze. The sound around me blurred. My mind refused to process it. Then the front door opened behind me. I turned. Noah stood there, wearing that same damn blazer. My chest seized. You were just..." "What?" he said, holding up a grocery bag. "I went to grab more wine. You okay?" My throat tightened. "You said you were sitting in the living room." "Yeah, 5 minutes ago. You were on the phone." He smiled. Casual. Too casual. "Who was that?" My hand trembled. "Cassidy." His jaw twitched, just for a second, but I caught it. That micro-expression that says, "Oh shit." "Everything good?" he asked, setting down the bag. I couldn't speak. The world tilted. Was Cass wrong? Was this some doppelganger situation? But she was looking straight at him, my husband, on a plane to Paris, while he was standing in front of me. Later that night, when he fell asleep, I crept into the living room and opened his phone. He was a tech consultant, password-obsessed, paranoid about digital privacy. But I knew his tells. I'd watched his thumbs enough times. His passcode was his birth month backward. 2086. It worked. Inside his messages, everything looked clean. Too clean. No flirty texts, no late-night emojis, just spreadsheets and work group chats. Except one folder tucked inside a hidden app labeled Weather. I opened it, and my blood turned cold. Hundreds of photos, screenshots, private messages, hotel confirmations. The woman, the one Cassidy must have seen, appeared in most of them. Brunette, designer body, the kind of woman who laughed like she owned the world. Her name, saved under Client L, was Lydia Reese. I knew that name. She was the CEO of a tech startup Noah had been consulting for. And apparently, sleeping with. The timestamps were recent. Paris, London, Dubai. Every city he claimed to be on business, every flight he swore was a last-minute meeting. My sister hadn't been wrong. He was on that plane. He must have sent a stand-in or had some insane trick going on. I needed proof. The next morning, I called Cassidy. "Describe him," I demanded. Every detail. She said, "Navy blazer, white shirt, Rolex, that scar on his chin from when he fell off Dad's dock as a kid. Amelia, it's him." "Cass," I said, whispering, "he was home." "No, he wasn't. They boarded. I saw his face." "He came home 5 minutes later." There was a pause. Then Cassidy said something that chilled me. "Unless he's got a twin or a clone, something's wrong." By noon, I was spiraling. I tailed Noah to work, downtown Chicago, the high-rise near Millennium Park. His office was real. His meetings were real. He even sent me texts during lunch. But when I tracked his credit card charges, things got weirder. He'd paid for a JetBlue lounge pass at O'Hare that morning, time-stamped 7:46 a.m., the same time Cassidy's flight boarded. That night, I confronted him. "How was work?" I asked. He didn't look up. Same old, boring meetings. "Did you go anywhere near the airport?" He frowned. "Airport? No." "You sure?" "Positive." I stared at him. "Cassidy said she saw you on a flight to Paris." He laughed. "Too hard. Your sister needs glasses." I didn't laugh. "She's a pilot, Noah. She saw your scar." His face went blank. For the first time, he didn't have an answer. Just that eerie, slow blink. Then, "You're losing it, Amelia." That night, I didn't sleep. I watched him breathe, wondering who the hell was lying beside me. Over the next week, things got glitchy. His phone pinged at 3 a.m. with encrypted notifications. He showered twice a day, once before bed, once at 5 a.m. before I even woke up. His scent changed. He started wearing cologne I hadn't bought, and once when I hugged him from behind, I felt a faint indentation near his ribs, like a scar that hadn't been there before. Cassidy called again 4 days later. "You're not gonna believe this," she said. "Same guy, same woman, another flight. Madrid." My pulse thudded. "You're sure?" "I swear on my wings. He's laughing, flirting, ordering champagne." "Cass," I said, shaking. "He's at home. He's here." She paused. "No, he's not, Amelia. I'm looking at him." I tiptoed to the living room. There he was, watching ESPN, eating chips, like some normal husband who hadn't just been spotted halfway across the world. That's when I realized this wasn't a regular affair. Something darker was happening. Either I was being gaslit on a master level, or my husband had a secret twin, clone, or tech trick that defied logic. I dug into his emails. Nothing. His laptop encrypted. His safe fingerprint locked. But he'd underestimated me. He always had. I booked a session with one of his former coworkers, a guy named Jordan, who'd left Noah's firm under weird circumstances. We met at a cafe downtown. Jordan looked pale, twitchy. "You're his wife?" he asked. "Yeah." He shook his head. "You need to get away from him." "Why?" "Because Noah isn't who you think he is." He told me the company Noah worked for wasn't just a tech consultancy. It was a shell for a private identity fabrication firm, the kind that built fake passports, created synthetic identities, and even replicated biometric data. Their clients were elite. Politicians, CEOs, people hiding from something. Noah's specialty? Digital doppelgangers, AI-generated doubles used for cover operations. "So, you're saying my husband cloned himself?" Jordan looked at me grimly. "Not cloned, replicated. Someone, maybe him, maybe her, is using your husband's identity to move around. Either that, or he's the one running the duplicates." My skin went cold. Why would he do that? Money, power, secrecy? Maybe to hide an affair. Maybe to hide something bigger. When I came home that night, Noah was in the shower. I opened his laptop again. This time I used a trick Jordan had taught me. Hit the escape key twice at startup, then run a shadow access command. A hidden drive popped open. Inside, travel logs, encrypted passports, photos of Lydia, and one folder labeled Aurora. When I clicked it, a video opened. It was security footage of me, sitting in our living room, on my laptop, looking through his phone. The camera angle came from our own ceiling light. He was watching me the whole time. My breath caught. The sound of running water stopped. Then his voice. "Looking for something, baby?" I turned, and he was standing in the doorway, dripping, towel slung low, smiling like the devil himself. "You've been busy." I swallowed. "What's Aurora?" "A project," he said softly. "Something you're not supposed to see." He stepped closer, water trailing down his chest. "You should have trusted me. You should have been trustworthy." "Careful," he said, voice lowering. "You don't want to dig too deep." "Why?" "Because the truth doesn't set everyone free. Sometimes it buries them." He smiled, kissed my forehead, and walked past me like nothing happened. That night, I didn't sleep. I stared at that folder, those videos, those lies, and I made a silent promise: if he thought he could manipulate me, he'd just made his biggest mistake. Because I wasn't some clueless wife. I was about to become his worst nightmare. The next morning, I followed his secrets straight into the one place I never thought I'd go, his world. And that's where I learned what Aurora really meant and why my sister might be the next target.
The next morning, I woke up with one thought pounding in my head. Find out what Aurora meant. Noah left early. He said he had a client breakfast downtown, but I didn't even pretend to believe it. The second the door clicked shut, I grabbed my laptop and replayed that video. Watching myself on screen, the way I looked over my shoulder like prey, made my stomach twist. He'd been recording me for months. I scanned the metadata hidden in the file name. It had a timestamp, 1 week ago, and a location tag. Not our house. Somewhere called Aurora Systems HQ. I Googled it. Nothing. Private server, blocked domain. But when I traced the IP through a backdoor tool Jordan gave me, a map popped up. The coordinates led to a warehouse on the west side of Chicago, the kind of industrial zone where tech meets trouble. I called Cassidy. "You off today?" I asked. "Just landed from Berlin." "Why?" "Because I need backup." She sighed. "Ames, what are you doing?" "Finding out who the hell I'm married to." Silence. Then a resigned, "Text me the address. I'll be there in an hour." When I got there, the place looked abandoned. Brick walls, faded signage, a single black SUV parked out front. Cassidy showed up in her leather jacket, hair still tied back from the flight. "You look like hell," she said. "Thanks." "You sure about this?" "No, but when have I ever backed down?" She smiled, that sister smile. The one that said, "Fine, let's burn it all down together." We crept around the back. The metal door had a keypad. Cassidy, who could fly a Boeing through a thunderstorm, looked at me like, "You got this?" I entered Noah's birth months backwards again, 2086. It clicked open. Inside, it was dark, sterile, humming with servers. The air smelled like cold metal and secrets. Rows of screens flickered with looping code and facial recognition grids. And then I saw it. My husband's face duplicated across multiple monitors, each one with a different location stamped beneath. Paris, Dubai, Madrid, Rome. My skin prickled. Cassidy whispered, "Jesus, Ames, what is this?" "Proof," I said. "Proof he's not who he says he is." We scrolled through files labeled with project names: Shadow ID, Doppel, Aurora. One folder was password locked. Cassidy pointed at the screen. "Try his phone number." I did. Access denied. "Your anniversary?" Denied again. I exhaled, thinking. Then I tried Cassidy. The screen blinked green. Unlocked. Inside were flight logs, personal data, surveillance videos, and a list titled Phase 2, Domestic Control. My stomach dropped. Names. Addresses. One of them was mine. Another, Cassidy's.
What the hell? Cassidy whispered. Why are we on this list? I scrolled down. Under Cassidy, it said, Phase 2A, observation complete, target neutralization pending. Target what? I gasped. Neutralization? That's military language, Cassidy said, her voice low. He's planning something. A noise behind us. A door shutting. We froze. Ames? That voice. Smooth, confident, his. You shouldn't be here. I turned slowly. Noah stood in the doorway, suit crisp, calm as ever. How did you think I wouldn't track your car? He said, stepping forward. Aurora's my world, baby. You really thought you could just walk in? Cassidy moved in front of me, like a shield. Stay back, Noah. He smiled. Relax, Captain Cassidy. You're safe. For now. I gritted my teeth. What the hell is Aurora? A business, he said smoothly. Identity protection. Duplication tech. Totally legal. And why are we on your neutralization list? He smirked. Because you started digging where you shouldn't. Aurora doesn't forgive curiosity. You mean you don't? His jaw tightened. You have no idea what you're talking about. Cassidy pulled out her phone to record, but in a flash, Noah grabbed it, tossed it against the wall. No evidence, he said. That's rule 1. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. You want to know the truth, Amelia? You're not married to who you think you are. The man you share a bed with, he's not just one man. He's a prototype. A what? Aurora's test subject. Me. My voice cracked. You're saying there are more of you? He smiled darkly. Let's just say I'm not the only Noah walking around. One of me works, one of me loves, one of me lies. And the one I married? The one who was supposed to keep quiet. My chest burned. You're insane. Maybe, but you should have left it alone. He looked at Cassidy. Especially you, Captain. Pilots see too much. He turned toward the door. Go home, both of you. Pretend this never happened. Or what? Cassidy snapped. He looked over his shoulder, that cold half-smile curling up. Or you'll find out what neutralization really means. He left, just walked out like he owned the world. My heart was racing. Cassidy grabbed my wrist. We need to go. No, I said. We need to fight back. That night, I couldn't stop shaking. I went through every drawer, every folder, every corner of the house, looking for anything that connected Noah to Aurora. Hidden flash drives, files, passports. In one of his jackets, I found a business card. Lydia Reese, CEO of Nova Technologies. I flipped it over. On the back, in Noah's handwriting, Aurora equals Nova. He was using her company as a front, and she wasn't just a mistress. She was his partner. Cassidy and I met again the next day at a rooftop bar in River North, pretending to be casual while sipping espresso martinis. We can't go to the cops. You saw his setup. He's got surveillance, deepfakes, God knows what else. They'll make us look crazy. So what do? We play smart, she said. We make him think we're done digging. And then? Then we burn him down. Over the next week, I acted like nothing happened. I smiled, cooked, laughed at his stupid jokes. Inside, I was a storm. Every move he made, I memorized. Every lie, I cataloged. I started recording our conversations with a hidden mic in my necklace, one of Cassidy's pilot gadgets. But the scariest part? Sometimes he felt different. Like I'd be talking to him and something was off. The way he pronounced words or how he held his fork. Once, he called me Anna. I froze. Who's Anna? I asked. He blinked, like rebooting. What? You just called me Anna. No, I didn't. You did. "You're tired," he said, smiling that fake, charming smile. He wasn't wrong. I was tired. Tired of being lied to, watched, gaslit. But I wasn't broken yet. Then came the night everything exploded. Cassidy texted me at midnight. "Need you to see this. Urgent." She sent a photo, grainy, from her cockpit camera feed. Lydia and Noah, boarding a jet marked Nova Private. The timestamp? 1 hour ago. Destination? Iceland. I looked at the clock. Noah was sleeping right next to me. Or whoever this was. I stared at him, his breathing steady, too steady, his body warm, real. But the man in that photo, it was him. Same scar, same eyes. 2 Noahs. I slipped out of bed, heart in my throat, and ran to the bathroom. He didn't move. I locked the door, grabbed my phone, and texted Cassidy back. "I'm done playing nice." She replied, "Then let's crash their flight." We spent the next 2 days planning. Cassidy rerouted her next assignment to Europe. She had clearance to monitor private flight manifests. She tracked every flight tied to Nova Technologies. I, meanwhile, broke into Noah's office and copied every encrypted file I could find. When I opened one folder, a set of contracts loaded. Aurora Project Phase 3, spousal replacements. My blood froze. The contract listed multiple signatures, Noah's, Lydia's, and mine. Except I'd never signed it. My signature was forged. Attached was a clause, "In the event of spousal termination, synthetic partner activation will proceed as scheduled." Termination. Synthetic partner. My vision blurred. He wasn't cheating. He was replacing me. I showed the file to Cassidy. She went pale. "Amy's, he's creating doubles. Of you." I wanted to scream, but all I said was, "Then I'll beat him at his own game." Cassidy and I devised a plan. Trap him, expose him, and make him pay. I'd confront him with fake forgiveness, pretend I wanted to join Aurora, gain his trust. Meanwhile, Cassidy would hack the mainframe from the inside. She had flight tech access. She knew how to breach encrypted systems mid-network. 3 nights later, I found the moment. We were having dinner, wine poured, music soft. I reached for his hand. "I was right," I said quietly, "about everything. I shouldn't have snooped." He looked wary. "You mean that?" "Yes. I want in, Noah. I want to understand you. Your world." His lips curved. "Aurora isn't for everyone, baby." "I can handle it." "You sure?" "I'm sure." He studied me for a long moment. Then he said, "Fine, but once you see what's behind the curtain, there's no going back." "Show me." He smiled. "Tomorrow night, midnight. Bring your passport." I nodded, hiding my shaking hands under the table. He poured more wine, eyes glinting with that cold satisfaction. He had no idea he was walking into his own trap. Tomorrow night, I'd step into Aurora, his secret world, pretending to be blind. But what I found waiting wasn't just his lies. It was something that looked exactly like me. The next night, the air felt electric. I stood in front of the mirror, staring at myself like a stranger. My reflection looked calm, lip gloss perfect, hair sleek, silk dress hugging every lie I was about to tell. But inside, my pulse was a goddamn drumline. I wasn't just walking into Noah's world tonight. I was walking into hell dressed in satin. He came downstairs looking too composed. "You ready?" he asked. "For what?" I said lightly. "For the truth," he said, handing me my passport. His voice had that edge again, too smooth, too in control. We got into his Tesla, silence slicing through us like a blade. City lights blurred past the tinted glass. My phone buzzed once. Cassidy's coded text. "Eyes on you. Safe until 11:47. Then improvise." I texted back one word. "Copy." He drove us through the industrial district, straight to the same warehouse from before. But this time, the place was alive. Security lights blazed. Men in dark suits carried tablets, scanning badges. When the gates slid open, the sign that flickered above them sent a chill through me. Aurora Systems, Human Enhancement Initiative. Inside, everything gleamed. Glass walls, metal corridors, polished floors that reflected your fear back at you. He led me through a biometric scanner and into a room lined with glass chambers. I froze. Each chamber had a person inside, breathing, sleeping. Identical. Identical to someone. My mouth went dry. One looked like a woman from my neighborhood, another a famous model. And then I saw her. My face, my skin, my hair, my mole. It was like watching myself sleep underwater. "What the hell is that?" I whispered. "That's you," he said calmly. "Prototype 07, almost complete." I took a step back. "That's not funny." "It's not meant to be." He pressed a button and the chamber lit up. My double's eyes flickered open, blue, empty. I stumbled. "Noah, what did you do?" He smiled like the devil with an NDA. "You wanted to know what Aurora was? It's immortality, baby. You, but better. No pain, no fear, no mistakes. Just obedience." Obedience? You wouldn't believe how much money people pay to replace complicated spouses. My stomach flipped. "You're selling people?" "I'm selling perfection." "You're insane." "No," he said, leaning in. "I'm visionary." I could feel the room spinning. My hands trembled, but I forced my voice to stay steady. "So, what happens to the original?" He smiled. "We call it phase transition." "Which means you disappear." My heart stopped. "Like you planned for Cassidy." He froze for a half a second, just long enough for me to know I was right. "Cassidy's saw too much. Aurora doesn't tolerate exposure. You touch her, and I'll burn this place down," I hissed. "You already tried. You really think you can win this game?" "I'm not playing anymore." I stepped back, scanning the room for something, anything I could use. Cassidy's voice buzzed in my earpiece. "Amelia, I'm in the system. I've got eyes inside Aurora's mainframe." I kept my face blank. "Keep talking, Noah. Tell me how you justify this." "Because people don't want truth," he said, stepping closer. "They want control. We're just giving them what they're too scared to admit they need." "And me?" "You were a trial run, a behavioral study. I needed to see if a synthetic spouse could trigger emotional realism in a human partner. So you were my experiment? You were perfect. Too perfect." "You fell in love exactly on schedule." I laughed, bitter and shaking. "You really think you can rewrite love in a lab?" "Watch me." Cassidy whispered through the comm. "Ames, listen, there's a kill switch in the central core. If we shut it down, we fry every clone, every server, everything." I whispered back, "Where?" "Sector C, sublevel 2. But you've got 10 minutes max before the system resets." "Understood." I looked at Noah, forcing a smile. "Show me more. If I'm going to be replaced, I at least want to meet my competition." He grinned. "You've got guts. I'll give you that." He swiped his badge and led me down the hallway. The walls pulsed with blue light, heartbeat monitors flickering in rhythm. Each prototype contains a consciousness seed, memories, emotions, reactions, all extracted from the original host. You, for example, were scanned the night of your 5th anniversary. I felt sick. "You recorded me crying." "It was data," he said. "Everything is data." "You're disgusting." "I'm efficient." He opened another door, and there they were. Rows of glass pods, each one labeled with women's names. Wives, girlfriends, lovers. Dozens of them. "They all signed up for the perfect partner," he said proudly. "They just didn't know they'd be prototypes." I couldn't breathe. Cassidy's voice was faint now. "Ames, power's fluctuating. Hurry." I nodded, pretending to be fascinated. So, where's your control center? You want to see the core? He asked. I thought you'd never ask. We stepped into an elevator. My palms were sweating, but I hid it. You ever think about what comes after all this? After you play God? No, he said, smirking, because I'll still be here. You sure? The elevator stopped. We entered a chamber glowing with red light. At the center, a glass column pulsed with energy. The Aurora core, the heartbeat of every nightmare he'd built. It's beautiful, isn't it? Like a digital soul. More like a virus. I took a slow step toward it. Can I touch it? Careful, he warned. One wrong move and… Boom? I said softly. Exactly. He turned away to adjust a console. That's when Cassidy's voice hissed, Now, Ames, left panel. Pulled the override and run. I moved fast. My hand found the panel. It was hot, vibrating. I yanked it down. Alarms exploded. Red lights flashed. Noah spun around, shouting, What did you do? What you taught me, I said, backing away. I stopped being perfect. Sparks erupted. The floor trembled. Cassidy's voice crackled. You've got 60 seconds before meltdown. Noah lunged at me, grabbing my arm. You think you're a hero? You're destroying everything. No, I gasped, wrenching free. I'm taking back what's mine. I sprinted for the elevator as smoke filled the air. The clone's pods shattered one by one. The last thing I saw before the doors closed was my own double, Prototype 07, opening her eyes and whispering, Run. The elevator shot upward, shaking. My ears rang. When the doors opened, I stumbled into the night. The building behind me erupted in a fireball, glass raining down like ash. I turned back, chest heaving. Noah was still inside. Or so I thought. My phone buzzed. Cassidy. You out? Yeah, the place is gone. Good. But, Amelia, there's something you need to see. What? I found his signal. He's not dead. My blood went cold. Where? Paris. I looked at the smoke curling into the night and whispered, Then that's where I'm going. I thought I'd buried Noah in that explosion, but when I landed in Paris, someone wearing his face was waiting, smiling like the devil survived the fire.
Paris looks romantic in movies. In real life, when you land chasing the ghost of your husband, the man you watched burn, it feels like stepping into a nightmare wearing designer heels. The city smelled like rain and cigarettes, luxury and lies. Cassidy's contact had booked me into the Hotel Costas under a fake name, Evelyn Hart. My reflection in the gold-trimmed mirror didn't even look like me anymore. Sharp, hollow-eyed, dangerous. I wasn't Amelia the wife now. I was Amelia the hunter, the woman who'd burned a lab to the ground and was still breathing. Cassidy had stayed behind to clean up our tracks, but she kept a live link through an encrypted comms app. Her voice crackled in my ear as I checked in. You sure about this, Ames? No, I said, but when have I ever been sure? You look for ghosts, you better be ready when they look back. He's not a ghost, I said, signing the registry with my alias. He's unfinished business. That night, I hit the streets. Paris at midnight was all velvet darkness and wet pavement. I walked past glowing cafes and couples holding hands, wondering how many of them were real. Cassidy had traced Noah's signal to a luxury penthouse in the 8th arrondissement, near the Champs-Élysées, his new hideout. Or his new lab. I didn't know which scared me more. When I reached the building, a black Bentley was parked outside. The license plate? Nova 1. My stomach turned. Lydia Reese was here too. The glass lobby door shimmered, reflecting me in 1,000 fragments. I buzzed the intercom. Oui, said a voice. I smiled at the camera. Delivery for Mr. Beckett. That was the name on Noah's fake passport. There was a pause, then a soft click. The door opened. The elevator was mirrored,
and every reflection of me looked like a different version, one afraid, one furious, one already dead. The top floor opened to a penthouse straight out of Architectural Digest. Marble floors, panoramic views of the Eiffel Tower, candles flickering against glass. And there, by the window, stood Noah, alive, perfectly calm, sipping whiskey. "Bonjour, baby," he said, smiling like the devil had taken French lessons. I froze. "You died." He set the glass down. "You'd be amazed what money and science can resurrect." My breath caught. "You're not him." He stepped closer, the smell of cedar and smoke filling the space between us. "Oh, I'm him. Just improved." "Improved?" He shrugged. "Version 2.0. The Paris branch of perfection." "Then what was that explosion?" "Cleanup," he said simply. "Aurora had too much baggage in Chicago. It was time to relocate." My hands shook. "You burned everything. You nearly killed me." "Correction," he said, voice smooth as silk. "I tested you, and you passed. You survived. You became what Aurora was meant to create." I glared at him. "You really think I'm your product?" "I think you're proof of concept." He walked toward the kitchen island, poured 2 glasses of wine, and slid one toward me. "You came all this way. You might as well toast to your evolution." "I'm not drinking with a sociopath." He laughed softly. "Still dramatic." "Still breathing," I said. Cassidy's voice whispered in my ear, faint through static. "Amelia," his signals bouncing between 2 frequencies, one here, one east of you. "There's another Noah nearby." My pulse kicked. "How close?" "Half a mile, maybe less." I stared at the man in front of me. "Where's Lydia?" He smirked. "Jealous or strategic?" "Both." "She's downstairs, running diagnostics." "On what?" "On you." Before I could respond, he pressed a button on his watch. A panel slid open in the wall. Behind it, screens, dozens, all showing me. Hotel lobby, street corner, airport. He'd been tracking me since the second I landed. "You think you're hunting me?" he said. "I've been watching you since O'Hare." "You underestimate how much I learn when I'm scared," I said. He tilted his head. "You sound proud." "I sound done." Cassidy's voice again. "Ames, listen. That other signal, it's moving. Fast. He's coming your way. Get out." I kept my eyes on Noah. "You alone here?" He smiled. "Define alone." Suddenly the lights flickered, the glass behind him shimmered, and another figure stepped into view. My knees nearly buckled. It was him. Another Noah. Identical. Same scar, same smirk, same monster eyes. Version 3.0. The 2 of them looked at each other, then at me. See, that's the thing about perfection. You always need a backup. My mind spun. "You're replicating yourselves now?" "Insurance policy," the second Noah said. "Can't risk extinction when you're priceless." Cassidy's voice again. "Ains, listen. That other signal? It's the dual signal feedback. One's organic host, the other is hybrid. He's testing fusion tech." "Translation?" I whispered. "One's human, the other is not." I backed up. The 2 Noahs moved in unison. The effect was nauseating, like watching a mirror breathe. I asked, "Which one are you? The man I married, or the thing you built?" The first one smiled. "Does it matter?" "It does to me." He leaned forward, eyes cold. "You buried me, now you get to live with me." I grabbed a champagne bottle from the counter and swung. It smashed against the first Noah's arm. He barely flinched. The second one lunged. I ducked, bolting toward the door. He caught my wrist, and I felt static surge through my skin. Cold, electric, wrong. I kicked free, ran to the elevator, and slammed the button. The doors closed just as one of them shouted, "You can't outrun what's inside you." Cassidy's voice was a lifeline now. "Ames, you good?" "No, there's two of him." "Two. One human, one synthetic." "Jesus." "Okay, listen, that second signal, if we trace it, we can kill the hybrid's control feed. You just need to plug my uplink into any Nova terminal." "Where?" "Closest one is at their European HQ, Montparnasse district. You've got maybe an hour before he finds you again." I ditched the hotel, swapped my SIM card, and caught a cab to Montparnasse. Rain smeared the windshield, Paris glowing like liquid glass outside. My mind was chaos. Two Noahs, one real, one engineered, and somewhere between them, a part of me they'd copied. The cab stopped near a sleek gray building labeled Nova Europe Labs. The place looked empty, but inside, blue light pulsed through the windows. I slipped in through a side door. The corridors were lined with glass walls, the same cold architecture as Chicago. And then I heard it. Footsteps. I ducked behind a pillar. Lydia Reese walked by, phone pressed to her ear, her voice sharp. "Yes, I saw her. No, she's not contained yet. The prototypes are unstable without her data. He's obsessed. That's the problem. She's his origin code." Origin code. My pulse jumped. Cassidy whispered, "Ames, she's talking about your neural imprint. That's how they build the clones. Without it, none of them function." "So I'm the source file?" I muttered. "Exactly. You control the narrative now." I followed Lydia into a control room filled with glowing monitors. When she turned, I stepped out of the shadows. "Looking for me?" She jumped. "Amelia!" "Surprise," I said, holding up a flash drive. "I'm here to shut your little immortality scam down." She smirked. "You think it's that simple?" "It usually is. You kill the code, the monsters die." Her smile twisted. "You can't kill what you already are." "What's that supposed to mean?" She pressed a button. A screen behind her flickered on. My face. Not a photo. A live feed. I was standing there on screen, same clothes, same movements, but my reflection lagged half a second behind. "You're not Amelia Beckett," Lydia said softly. "You're Prototype 0. My blood froze. "You're lying." "No, the real Amelia died in the first trial run. You're her perfected imprint. You just never remembered the upload." "No, I remember everything." "Of course you do. We programmed you that way." Cassidy's voice was a whisper of static. "Ames, don't listen to her. You're real. You're my sister." But Lydia stepped closer. "She's not your sister, Captain. She is your sister's echo." "Shut up," I snapped, pushing her back. "Go ahead," she said, eyes gleaming. "Kill me. Let's see if your conscience is part of the code." For a second, the world spun. Every memory, our wedding, our laughter, every tear flashed like corrupted files. My hands shook. "No, I know who I am." Lydia smiled. "Then prove it." I slammed the flash drive into the main console. Sparks flew. The alarm screamed. Cassidy's voice cut in. "Ames, I'm in. I can trigger a full data collapse, but you have to get out now." Lydia grabbed my arm. "If you shut this down, you die with it." "Then so be it," I said, pulling free. She lunged, but I hit the override. The entire building began to shake. Monitors burst, lights flickered. I sprinted for the exit as fire alarms wailed. Behind me, Lydia screamed, "You'll never kill what you are!" Outside, rain poured like silver knives. I stumbled into the street, coughing. My phone buzzed. "Cassidy, you did it. Server's down. But Ames, your biometrics vanished, too. Are you okay?" I stared at my trembling hands. For a second, they glitched. Just a flicker, like static in the rain. Then it was gone. I'm fine, I lied. We need to meet. Get out of Paris. Not yet. He's still out there. Amelia, I have to know which one's real. I ducked into a metro station, blending into the crowd. My reflection in the glass doors shimmered again, half a beat behind. My pulse raced. Was it adrenaline, or was Lydia right? The thought gutted me. At the far end of the platform, someone was watching me. A man in a dark coat. He stepped forward, and my breath caught. Noah. But his eyes, softer, sad, human. He approached slowly. Amelia, he said, voice rough, you shouldn't be here. I didn't move. Which one are you? The first, he said, the original. I didn't die. I escaped. Liar, I saw you burn. That was him, he said, version 2.0. I built him to replace me, but he took control. He wanted you, the way I couldn't. Why should I believe you? He stepped closer, hands trembling. Because I still love you. And because you're not what they told you you are. Meaning? He cupped my cheek, his touch warm, real. You're human, Amelia. You're just the only one they couldn't overwrite. I stared at him, searching for truth. Then why do I glitch? Because they scanned you too deep. Your neural codes tangled with their tech. But you can fight it. I don't even know who to believe anymore. Believe this, he said softly. You burned the lab. You freed them. You still have a choice. Suddenly, a scream echoed down the tunnel. The other Noah, version 2.0, emerged from the shadows, eyes glowing faint blue. Found you, he hissed. The human Noah pushed me back. Run! I didn't. I grabbed the nearest metal pipe, my heart in overdrive. No, I finished what I started. Version 2.0 smirked. You can't kill your reflection. Watch me. The fight was chaos, metal against flesh, sparks flying as the hybrid's hand cracked through steel. He was faster, stronger, perfect, but he underestimated rage, real rage. I swung hard, smashing the pipe into his head. He staggered, glitching, wires sparking under his skin. You were supposed to love me, he rasped. I did. Then I learned to love the truth more. The light in his eyes flickered out. He collapsed, a perfect machine gone silent. When it was over, the real Noah stood bleeding, smiling faintly. You did it, he whispered. I knelt beside him. It's over. Not yet, he said, handing me a drive. This has everything, every copy, every file, every secret. End it for good. His eyes closed before I could say goodbye. I sat there, trembling, rain dripping through the tunnel ceiling. Around me, the world buzzed with static. My reflection in the puddle smiled back half a second late. I thought killing him would end the nightmare. But when I opened that final drive back home, the screen didn't show Noah or me. It showed Cassidy, and the file was labeled Prototype 1. The private jet cut through a sky the color of bruised glass. I didn't sleep the whole flight. My mind replayed Paris in flashes. The fight, the blood, the drive Noah handed me. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that flicker in my reflection, that micro glitch that said maybe Lydia wasn't lying. Cassidy picked me up at the airstrip in Chicago, dressed in her pilot jacket, hair tied back, eyes hidden behind aviators. I expected a hug, a breakdown, something, but she just nodded. You made it out. Barely, I said, tossing my duffel into the back seat. She glanced at me. You look different. Paris does that. Or maybe dying does, she muttered under her breath. What was that? Nothing. She turned up the radio. The drive back felt long, too long. Downtown shimmered with holiday lights, the skyline a mix of glass and ghosts. I stared out the window, my hands twitching in my lap. I could still feel the static from that hybrid's grip. Cassidy finally spoke. So, you got it? I held up the drive. Every secret Noah ever made. Good. We end this. She said it too fast, too smooth. Back home, the house felt wrong, too quiet. I set the drive on my marble kitchen island. Same house, same scent of oak and jasmine, but the air buzzed, like the walls were whispering. Cassidy walked around inspecting the space like she didn't belong here. Des money still smells the same, she said, half a laugh in her throat. I smirked. You always hated my house. I hated that it was bought with his lies. Then why do you keep helping me? Because you're my sister. Her tone was too sharp, like she was reminding herself of it. She watched as I powered up the laptop. The drive's blue light blinked, pulsing like a heartbeat. The screen booted, showing a single encrypted folder. Prototypes. I clicked. Inside were names. Hundreds. My chest tightened as I scrolled, some labeled failed, others active. Then I saw one file glowing red. Prototype 1, Cassidy Reese. I froze. She stepped behind me, her reflection in the screen. What's wrong? I turned slowly. Why is your name on here? Her jaw tensed. Probably because I was part of the trial. They scanned everyone close to Noah for pattern data. You know that. This says Prototype 1, not test data. It's just a name, Ames. No, I said, backing up. It's a replacement. Her eyes hardened. You really think you're the only one he cloned? Silence. Outside, thunder rumbled. My hands shook. Cass, tell me you're real. She smiled sadly. Define real. The air cracked. I took a step back. Don't mess with me right now. I'm not, she said softly. I'm protecting you. By lying? By not letting you self-destruct again. Again? She exhaled. You really don't remember, do you? Before I could ask, the lights flickered. My laptop screen filled with static. Then an image. Security footage, Paris, 2 days ago. The metro tunnel. Me. Standing over Noah's body. Only, there was no one else there. No fight. No second Noah. Just me swinging a metal pipe into empty air. Cassidy stepped closer, her voice low. He never came back, Ames. You killed no one. You destroyed nothing. The lab didn't burn because of you. It burned because he triggered the failsafe. That's impossible. You're seeing what you want to see. I slammed my palm against the counter. Stop talking to me like I'm insane. She whispered, You think you're the original? You're the control subject, Ames. You were built to believe you survived. That's how they studied trauma retention. I stared at her, the room spinning. You're lying. She grabbed my wrist. Feel that? Her skin was warm, pulse steady. I'm real enough. I pulled away. You knew. You've known since the beginning. She nodded once. I didn't know how to tell you. You were glitching in Paris. Your vitals flatlined for 12 minutes after the lab exploded. When they pulled you out, what came back wasn't exactly my sister. Tears blurred my vision. So what am I? Her answer cut like a knife. You're the best version of her. I stumbled back. The laptop beeped. A new file opened itself. Live feed, timestamp, now. Security cam view. My living room. A man stood outside the front door. Noah. Breathing. Real. Cassidy turned to me. You didn't kill him. The doorbell rang. Everything in me went cold. He looked the same. Perfectly pressed suit, cold eyes, the scent of smoke and memory. He stepped inside like he owned the oxygen. Miss me, baby? Cassidy pulled her gun. Standard pilot issue. You take one step closer. He smiled. Still the hero. I whispered, How are you alive? He tilted his head. Depends which one you think I am. Cassidy aimed steady. Don't. He raised his hands, calm. Relax. I came to talk. I scoffed. You came to gloat. Maybe both. He looked at me. You think she's your sister? I froze. Don't. He said quietly, She's not. She's the first full clone, the one who kept me alive after the lab fire. Cassidy's jaw clenched. He's lying. Noah's tone was ice. She dragged me out. She rebuilt my neural code with yours. Without her, I'd be ash. I turned to Cassidy. Tell me that's not true. She didn't answer. The room pulsed with silence. Thunder rolled outside. I whispered, You saved him? She met my eyes. I couldn't lose both of you. You played God. I played sister. No, you played scientist. Same damn thing now. Noah chuckled. This is sweet. Two broken codes arguing over who's more human. I snapped. Shut up. Cassidy lunged first. The gun fired. Glass shattered. Noah fell back, but didn't bleed. His skin shimmered, cracked, revealed metallic veins pulsing blue. Told you, he rasped, standing straight. I'm not human anymore. Cassidy emptied the clip. The bullets pinged off his chest like raindrops on armor. I grabbed the flash drive and smashed it into the wall port beside the fridge. Cass, give me your uplink. She ripped her wrist device off and tossed it. I plugged it in. The system hummed, screens flashing everywhere. Files spread like wildfire. Noah strode forward, unbothered. You can't delete evolution. Watch me, I hissed. Cassidy covered me, reloading. Do it, Ames. The console flashed red. Confirm system purge. YN. I hit Y. Noah's body convulsed, light bursting under his skin. You can't win. Neither could you, I said. The explosion wasn't cinematic. It was brutal. Blue light tore through the room, shredding glass and data alike. I hit the floor, shielding my face. When the light died, Noah was gone. The walls were scorched. My sister lay motionless beside me. I crawled to her, choking on smoke. Cass, hey, stay with me. Her eyes fluttered open. You did it. No, we did. She smiled faintly. You know what's funny? What? I can't feel my heartbeat. Don't say that. She looked up at the flickering ceiling light. Guess I was the prototype after all. No, you're my sister. Then promise me something. Anything. When they come for you, and they will, don't run. Rewrite the code. Cass. Her hand slipped from mine. Silence swallowed everything. The house burned again. Third time's the charm, right? Sirens in the distance, smoke curling like ghosts. I stumbled out into the street, soaked in rain and blood. The flash drive still burned hot in my pocket, but when I pulled it out, it wasn't a drive anymore. It was a chip, embedded, glowing faintly in my skin. Cassidy's last words echoed in my head, rewrite the code. And I realized she hadn't died. She'd uploaded. The chip pulsed once. Then her voice whispered inside my mind. Ames, it's me. Don't freak out. I gasped, staring at my own reflection in a shattered car window. My eyes glowed faintly blue. Cassidy wasn't gone. She was inside me. But if she was there, what else was? And whose heartbeat was really mine now?
When I finally got back to the States, the city didn't look the same. Everything had that sterile, too quiet glow that happens after disaster, like life hadn't caught up with the truth yet. My phone was full of Cassidy's missed calls. She wanted answers. But every time I looked at her contact name, my stomach turned. That drive Noah had given me was sitting on the kitchen counter, sealed in a black titanium casing. The labels still haunted me. Prototype 1. My name wasn't on it. Hers was. Cassidy Beckett. My sister. My savior. My handler. My maybe creator. I poured a double shot of whiskey and stared at the reflection in the glass. It flickered once. Static. I didn't blink this time. When I finally plugged the drive in, the screen went black. Then lines of code rolled like a storm. Then a video. Cassidy stood in a white lab coat, younger, hair pulled tight, eyes tired but alive. She looked straight into the camera. Project Aurora, Phase 1, Subject, Prototype 1, Codename, Cassidy. Neural replication, success. Emotional response, stable. My hand shook so hard I almost dropped the laptop. Cassidy was the first prototype, not me. The next file loaded automatically. Phase 0, Emotional Mirror. The video cut to another room, and there I was, hooked to wires, unconscious. Cassidy's voice, off-screen. We copied her neural lattice as baseline. Subject shows higher resilience, empathy, self-awareness, potentially uncontrollable. My stomach dropped. They cloned me to control her. And it worked until it didn't. I closed the laptop and stared out the window. My reflection didn't glitch this time. It looked solid, almost smug. So, who's the real one now? I muttered. That night, Cassidy finally showed up. She walked straight in like she owned the place. Same pilot jacket, same confidence. Jesus, Ames, you could have answered your damn phone. I turned slowly. Had to make sure I was talking to the original. Her jaw tightened. You opened the drive. Yeah. You gonna lie or confirm it? She sighed, setting her bag down. You weren't supposed to see that. Then why did Noah give it to me? Because he wanted you to hate me, and maybe he was right. Try again. She rubbed her face. Okay, yes, I was prototype 1, the first test. I didn't know what I was signing up for back then. They said they'd copy me, improve me, help with flight performance. I didn't realize they'd use my DNA to build a sister that wasn't mine. I stared at her. So, what, I'm your sequel? You're not a sequel, she said. You're the only one who broke the cycle. Cut the poetic crap. You built me to fix you. And when it worked, you used me as bait. Her eyes went glassy. I saved your life. You built my life. We stood in silence, the rain outside echoing the night Paris burned. Cassidy finally said, You think you want the truth? But trust me, it'll gut you. I took a step closer. Try me. She pulled out a small metal device, the size of a lighter. This is the Aurora key. It holds every code left, the clones, the backups, the neural blueprints, all of it. We destroy this, it's over. Then let's burn it. She hesitated. You don't get it, Ames. If we burn this, we burn you too. You're tied to the same matrix. The system will wipe your neural core. I swallowed hard. So, that's the choice? Die human or live as a copy? She nodded. I won't let you choose wrong. Cassidy reached for the device, but I was faster. I grabbed it and stepped back. You had your turn. This one's mine. She froze. Amelia, please. I spent my whole life thinking I was your sister. I said, turns out, I was your experiment. So tell me, does a lab rat get a vote? She took a shaky breath. You're more than me now. That's why I kept you alive. Then you'll understand this. I slammed the Aurora key against the counter, shattering the casing. Sparks exploded, and a low hum filled the room. Cassidy lunged, screaming, No! White light swallowed everything. When I woke, it was morning. The house was quiet. The laptop screen was melted, smoke curling from the keys. Cassidy was gone. Her jacket lay on the floor, still warm. I walked outside. The sun hit my face, and for the first time, there was no flicker, no glitch,
No static. Just me. Down the street, a TV inside a cafe was playing a breaking news segment. Aurora Corporation executives found dead in an apparent explosion at their main lab. I smiled faintly. Justice or cosmic irony, either way, it was over. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number, text only. Bonjour, baby. Paris misses you. Attached was a photo. Me, standing at a window in the Hotel Coates. But I hadn't been there since the night I killed him. My chest went cold. I flipped the phone over, the screen reflecting my face. Just for a second, half a beat, my reflection smiled back, a little too late. I whispered, "Guess perfection never really dies." Then I tossed the phone into the river and walked away. They thought the fire ended it. But somewhere in the ruins of Aurora, a new file just booted up. The name flashing on the screen wasn't Amelia or Cassidy, just one word in bold letters: Eve.
If this story touched your heart or made you feel every twist of pain and justice, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Your support means everything and keeps these emotions alive on screen. And before you go, leave your valuable thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how this